One doctor gives you national prefixed prices with no call-out or overtime charges 24 hours, 365 days a year. Drain Doctor. Emergency plumbing and drainage. As quick as a wink. The doctor will see you now. Drain Doctor. Proud sponsors of How to Start Your Own Business.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of How to Start Your Own Business. In today's programme we'll be hearing from the British Franchise Association, the only voluntary self-regulatory body for the UK franchise industry. We'll also be visiting two more businesses who are accredited BFA members with a proven trading and franchising record. Firstly, Brian Smart of the British Franchise Association explains the key differences between taking on a franchise and starting a standalone business.
When you take on a franchise, you take on all the lessons that somebody else has learned in starting their own business, in getting the product, price, place, position, formulas right to make sure that you make a profit when you sell things rather than a loss. Somebody else has done all that, they've made all the mistakes, they've spent however many years it is tweaking a business until it's profit that drops out of the bottom end of the sales process instead of loss. Now that's quite an advance on starting your own business where you've got to do all those things and take all those risks. So the format, the proven format, is the first thing you buy into. The second thing you buy into is the skill of the franchisor in choosing you as somebody with the potential, the aptitudes to run that business successfully. You won't need all of the detailed skills. The franchisor will train you in what you need to know, in what you need to know, how you need to do the job of running the business. But you will need the aptitudes. And the franchisor will not just be skilled in deciding whether or not you've got those aptitudes, he has a commercial interest in that. If it's a good franchise, because in a good franchise, the franchisor will not be making significant profit out of you from the initial sale of the business format to you. He will be making profit out of the business you do with consumers. So he'll be taking his slice of the action as a percentage of your turnover or as a markup on the goods that you sell. He'll be providing you with continuing services in return for that continuing fee, but he will be also making his profit out of his share of the business that you do with consumers. So his interest, his commercial interest, is that you do as much business with consumers as is humanly possible. And he will be selecting you because you're going to be able to do that. If he selected you as an idiot whose only qualification was an overly large checkbook, then he wouldn't have been making money, significant money downstream, because he wouldn't have made great money out of the initial sale. He's waiting for you to be successful to take his slice of the action with consumers.
We recently met Ray King at LMI UK, a fully accredited BFA member.
The company is Leadership Management International. It was founded in 1966 by a man called Paul J. Mayer, who unfortunately died of cancer in 2009. But prior to his death, he was acknowledged in the US as the #1 author of people development material. And I say development material rather than books as such, because what Paul decided was that he would develop methodology, if you like, in a program as we call it, that would help people become as opposed to just read about. And that's really our key forte. And he also decided that we would work as a franchise licensing organisation worldwide, and we are now in 60 countries, 24 languages, and growing all the time. We have franchisees all over the world, which we call franchisees licensees, about 500 around the world, and the whole system works. What we do, and I'll be very frank, is not rocket science, but it achieves a result, because we say what we're in is business performance improvement through people. So through our programs in leadership, management, productivity, sales and such, we do help people to think and behave more effectively and productively. And that's really the business itself.
My name is Nick Howes. I'm from Coventry, and I've recently become an LMI UK franchisee, having previously for 2 years been an associate of an existing franchisee. My background is not in business at all. It's in working with charities and people leading and managing in the charitable sector, leading in churches and aid organisations, effectively running leadership development and personal development courses. And so I've then recently, as I came across LMI, joined the business world. But my background is very much in the kind of developing, coaching, helping people, but in a not-for-profit sector. I went the route of becoming an associate before investing in my own franchise. So the advantage of that was that the initial investment was smaller, and it gave me an opportunity to see the business firsthand. But in essence, for me, it was all about the quality of the product. And so, again, I was, having worked in this sort of area, developing people, but in the charitable sector, and then was hugely aware of the kind of ineffectiveness of some of the things that we were doing. So I was introduced to LMI by an existing franchisee, and just could see immediately that the way these programs were structured, the content and the facilitation process over time was just going to be, it was exactly what I was after. So in that sense, I fell in love with the product, and then it was about finding out about the business. So I think knowing that the business is something that in an area that you're really passionate about is for me, that was the key thing.
I'm often asked about the ideal profile of a successful franchisee. And the best way I can answer you this is very simple. We rarely ever take on people who naturally fit the kind of markets we work in. We take on people who have a genuine desire to work with other people, to help them to achieve, to help them realise their potential, to grow. I'm also asked, we have profiling tools. Should I profile before? I never profile anyone until they join. And the reason for that is very simple. I want to know where they want to go, not where they've been. So you can have somebody who's perhaps been in banking and then they want to get in people development, or they've been in manufacturing and they want to go into a different area. That's fine. I'm more interested in where they want to go, where their dreams and aspirations are, rather than where they've been. Obviously, having people with a reasonable background, business-wise, is good, but it's not essential, providing they accept that they are buying a business, and that's key. I also have right now, I have a particular focus that I want to get younger franchisees on board. And by that I mean 30 years and above typically, although I look even younger, because this is a young world. It's said that the average age of the most successful companies in the UK is 35. So, having younger franchisees, no problem at all.
It was something that I'd essentially been doing for quite some time. So for me, it wasn't a huge step, but it is, the difference was going into being my own boss and needing it to be profitable in a way that I hadn't previously because of the investment and essentially being in business. So having to really knuckle down and get the daily disciplines of what it means I'm in business now. If I sit around today, nothing happens. If I'm not successful, it's my own fault, all those sort of things, and developing the attitudes and habits that were really focused on running a successful business. That was the key thing. Actually going out and doing it, I really enjoyed and found myself, relatively good at. It was just the daily disciplines and habits, and certainly I find in my conversations with other business owners, that's one of the biggest challenges.
Currently, our franchise join-in fee to become a franchise owner with LMI UK is £10,500 plus VAT. We're promoting the franchise. We need to recruit more franchisees. So for the first half of this year, we're putting out a franchise for 10,500. But it is still complete. It includes everything that someone will need to start their business with us, including the training, the materials, stationery, everything they need. And typically the license is for 5 years. And when they come to renew after 5 years, subject to mutual approval, they just renew. There's no ongoing fee beyond that. That's our normal fee. We also have, which should be clear to people, that we have a monthly support fee. And that support fee covers general support, IT matters, miscellaneous marketing and so forth.
I'm in the LMI office this morning to do one of their sales programs. Very interested in motivation and success and goal-directed action, all to increase my productivity at work.
Okay, Sam, how have you got on with this week's lesson and what's been the best idea?
I really got on with the first lesson very well. I found it really interesting. I liked reading about the LMI concept, about motivation, the 3 types of motivation that it had. For me, the goal, the short-term realistic goals were quite important because I felt actually I didn't have any goals that were specific or measurable, even though realistic to myself. So for that, I think that was good.
Right, okay. And were there any areas where you thought this is where I can begin to start setting some of those short-term goals?
Yes, thinking about personal, monetary gain, family life, and just starting with some simple ones that I could measure and keep on track of and apply them into my daily business.
Fantastic.
As well. So yeah, I thought it was good. I like the whole multi-sensory, the
reading,
package,
the listening.
Yes,
yeah.
And the spaced repetition I found very good as well.
Let's have a look at the application and action questions. So we'll go through there, and yeah, one of the questions is looking at kind of recognising your individual success experiences, and we tend not to be so great at marking our own successes. Do you have any thoughts on that question?
The ultimate goal is success, not only in work but personal. I think if you're doing well at work, then if you do what LMI teaches you to do, which is to set yourself goals, I can set myself home life goals and work goals. That makes Sam quite a happy person.
I would recommend franchising, and I have done, I might say, to a number of friends, and I've seen a number of businesses that they were in now become franchises, and they've, if you like, missed the boat a bit. But I think you can, from what I've seen, fundamentally franchise nearly any business. The key factor in that is to get advice. The BFA offer advice on people wanting to go franchising, and there are a number of very good franchise affiliated consultants who will assist people put the whole lot together. You know, we did it right at the beginning. When we decided to become BFA members, we had people come in and give us advice about the steps that were necessary here in the UK to be a BFA member and make sure they cross their T's, dot their I's with contracts, etc.
My concluding thoughts, if you like, is there's a large part of me that can't quite believe that I'm sat where I am now because, again, my background is not in business, and yet here I sit as a successful business owner, just, in embryonic form but beginning, with opportunities and experiences that have just been fantastic. So, I recommend it, and I wouldn't have changed, the last couple of years, and then ultimately buying my own franchise in this business, and just phenomenally excited about the future and the opportunities, and would recommend it, wholeheartedly to others to have a think about, the franchising opportunity.
Franchising reduces risk, but it never removes risk. Every business, there is a risk involved. In actual fact, starting a business from scratch in a non-franchised environment is very, very risky. And I think if you look at the different statistics out there, you'll find that in a 3-year period, you'll actually be going against the trend to still be in operation. With franchising, it's quite the opposite. We're looking at about a 90% success rate. So it's hugely more successful, and that's no surprise, really. You're taking a business which is already proven. You're then taking that proven system and you're teaching somebody to operate that, and you're then supporting them on that as well, having actually made sure you only take people that are suitable for that business. So there's no surprise why that system produces a much higher success rate.
Join us after the break. See you then.
Choosing a plumber should never be a gamble. Call Drain Doctor, and it won't be.
Taking on a franchise is a big step, and one you should only take once you've thoroughly researched what's really involved. British Franchise Association accredited exhibitions are your perfect opportunity to speak with experts, hear from franchisors, and gain from free educational seminars. Visit thebfa.org for all upcoming exhibition dates and access to free tickets.
For over 40 years globally, clients have been telling us they gain improved results in leadership, motivation, goal setting, improved management skills, more effective communication, team empowerment. If you could improve any of these, which would they be? Contact us to learn more about LMI's unique multisensory methodology and programs which do change the way people think and behave, thus producing tangible business performance improvements guaranteed.
There's a national plumber that charges you the same rate with no call-out cost, day or night. Drain Doctor.
With 20 years of success in the UK, Expense Reduction Analysts are the global leader in cost, purchase and supplier management. Our success is based on our tried and tested approach, providing regular independent reviews of our clients' business expenditure, forensically examining potential profit leaks and identifying areas for improvement, typically saving 19.7%. Contact us today to find out how we can help you reduce your costs and improve profit.
The doctor will see you now.
Hello and welcome back to part 2. We'll be returning to the BFA shortly, but first we spent a day at Expense Reduction Analysts to learn why franchising works so well for them.
Expense Reduction Analysts, or ERA as we term it, was first established here in the UK just on 20 years ago. In fact, we're celebrating our 20th birthday this year. And simply put, we specialise in helping other companies with effective procurement of their indirect costs. Our franchise partners are trained to go into those organisations to bring to bear a set of tools, a set of skills that we train and empower them with, and find those clients savings. And by finding them savings, we increase their bottom line profits. The decision to franchise for us was not a difficult one. The key aspect that makes our business so successful is the collection of talent that we've got within our network. In other words, the skills that our franchise partners bring to us, the mixture of experience and people and a lifetime in other industries that all come together to give us a unique advantage for our clients. We wouldn't be able to replicate that in a traditional corporate model. By franchising, we're able to draw upon the best franchise partners possible with a massive variety of experience, bring them together into one network where they can share that experience, work together then for each other's profitability and success. And again, a corporate network wouldn't have done that for us. The other big advantage we get from it, like most companies that look to franchise, is that it does give us the ability to tap into that drive and enthusiasm of self-employed entrepreneurs. Guys and girls working together in a team who every Monday morning when they wake up with a desire to get out there and be successful because it's their own business. They're not just on the job for us as such.
I had little or no knowledge of franchising before, but I did a lot of research and went to a franchise show, and then amazingly was absolutely staggered by the variety of franchise opportunities that was available. So and the one that really attracted me was the business-to-business franchise, as opposed to all the others, you know, maybe food or van-based franchise. It's this concept of management franchise that really got me going.
As a franchisor in the UK, like any franchisor, our brand is one of our most important assets. It's one of the things that our franchise partners themselves get the most value from in terms of its recognition with clients. And like any brand, that has to be managed and protected because it has certain values that surround it. The easiest way and the very first thing we have to do to protect that brand is make sure we recruit the right partners in the first place. Franchisee partner selection, finding the right guys and girls to come into this business and work with us is the first rule to protecting that brand long term. Because if we get that wrong, if we bring the wrong person on board at the front end, it's only going to cost us all a lot of time, energy and money over the long term with the damage it might do to the brand. Second to that though, through an ongoing program of professional development, giving our own existing partners the opportunity to continually improve what they do and how they represent the brand with the skills they bring to bear and the talent that they use with clients every day.
There's a couple of real big benefits of any franchise, and if I can list them certainly in the way it appealed to me. The first one is it's a proven system, a proven concept. So it gives you that platform from which you can then develop in whichever way you wish, but still on the knowledge, on the comfort that you have that existing platform. But the second thing is that it's also, I think, the ability to raise finance very, very easily, because you can take that to your bankers, to your lenders, on the basis of that existing concept that's proven in a marketplace and that then therefore you can just replicate.
When it comes to starting any business, there's obviously an investment involved. And our business as a franchise is no different to any other. There's an investment there up front. The initial investment when a franchise partner looks to join us, including the franchise fee, the licensed element for the term of the contract, the brand rights, the software systems, the training and professional development, and the startup support, particularly in the first year when it's at its most intense, the initial investment for all of that with us is just under £40,000. But that's just, if you will, the upfront capital investment. The franchisee, anybody starting a business, and ours is no different, has to also then consider working capital. What's it going to cost to keep that business running over the first 12 months while it gets traction and builds its client base and builds its cash flow?
I think anybody considering franchising has to do a lot of research, and there's two reasons for that. One, it has to fit your own aspirations. And there's such a wide range of franchise concepts available that I'm pretty sure you can find anything you wish to suit your own aspirations. But the second thing why the research is so important is that aspect of finance again that we spoke a minute or so ago. It is important that it matches your own ability and your own cash and finance positions, basically. Again, you have such a range of options available. So research is the name of the game for me. I carried a very extensive research and then narrowed it down further, and ERA came on top because of its, I think, its ability to help me continue to develop my business with the people I used to deal with before, decision makers in businesses.
When someone joins the franchise, I take care of them from the minute they sign up to when they sort of leave the training. So pre-training, it's getting them settled in a hotel, making sure they know exactly what courses they're going to be taking, the benefits of each course, and then when they're here, I'm their point of call. So they need any kind of support, any questions, then I'm their lady. And then after training, I sort of look at what they've done, where their focus is going to be, and then decide on their post-foundation training courses as well.
ERA is made up of, as you know, 155 associates, 155 franchisees, and they work quite, I suppose, in isolation from us here in Southampton. So they need a bit of support, and that generally comes in the form of me, sitting side by side in their office environment perhaps, or meeting with a client, or prospecting for new business, and so on and so on.
For some people, there's real hand-holding and step-by-step guidance and support. For other people, we give them the headlines and we let them get on with it, but we're there when they need the help. New associates typically need a lot of support up front, and that support is there for as long as they need it. A variety of different forms, whether it be face-to-face support, telephone support, support from a manual or a checklist, support from existing associates, a library of information on our intranet site, and that support can be as intense and as frequent as they need it for as long as they need it.
We've just recently appointed a new PR team, so it's basically arranging various events, networking events for our consultants, also arranging articles and assisting in writing those articles, and basically trying to get as much coverage as we can in predominantly industry and national press.
I think I keep on doing this, and my motivation, and quite frankly I have no issues to mention it, is simply the enjoyment of success. I'll just go back to when I issued my very first invoice, however small that was, but that feeling that you got, that everything on that invoice, every penny is just self-generated, was just such a massive achievement. And now the invoice have just got bigger and bigger. It makes even the success greater and greater to enjoy. And so that is still my main motivation, is, you know, the ability to enjoy the success that I have created through the franchise, but that then I have developed, and that's very much what I want to keep on doing, keep on enjoying that success.
Franchising is a fantastic way to grow and run a business. But I always come back to the same bit of advice, and I pass this on to anybody I speak to who asks about franchising. It is a great way to grow a successful business, but franchising itself is not the business. So make sure whatever it is you're good at to start with, whether it's the retail operation, whether it's the van delivering goods or services, or whether it's the consultancy, your long-term future will come from the doing of your business. Franchising is simply a means to expand that quicker. It is not a business in itself. But I would highly recommend franchising to anybody that was seriously considering growing their own business.
I have seen, unfortunately, maybe too many times where people maybe give up at the first hurdle. Well, life is all about overcoming the hurdles, and this is no different. You do get the support, but you still have to put in the work, especially in the initial phases. But the rewards are there to be had as well.
The past few years have been difficult for all businesses, whether it's franchised or corporately owned. In these kinds of difficult economic circumstances, there are winners and losers. And the winners will also take market share from the losers. So if you can succeed in this kind of climate, you can do very well by picking up business from the people who aren't so fleet of foot, who aren't so prepared to get up and respond to these difficult market conditions. All the evidence is that franchising has been a sector which all across areas of commercial activity has responded far better than corporately owned businesses. Franchisees just get up in the morning wanting to do business with customers. And that kind of drive, that motivation, because it's their business, because it's their capital, because it's their future, is the kind of difference that it takes to do better than the guy next door.
We do hope that you've enjoyed today's show. Join us at the same time next week to find out more about the benefits of franchising. See you then.